Lesson number 10 for Monday, March 6th. You can't take it with you. Someone asked famous evangelist Billy Graham what surprised him most about life now that he was old. Graham was in his 60s at the time. Graham's answer, the brevity of it. No question, life goes by quickly. What do the following texts teach about human life here? Psalms 49:17 says, "For when they die, they carry nothing with them. Their wealth will not follow them into the grave." 1 Timothy 6:6-7 says, "Yet true religion with contentment is great wealth. After all, we didn't bring anything with us when we came into the world, and we certainly cannot carry anything with us when we die." And James 4:5 says, verse 14, "How do you know what will happen tomorrow? For your life is like the morning fog. It's here a little while, then it's gone." Not only does life go by quickly, but also when you die, you take nothing with you, at least of the material goods that you have accumulated. Character, that's another story. Psalm 49:17 says, "For when he dies, he shall carry nothing away," which means that he or she leaves it behind for someone else to get. Who will get it, of course, depends upon what plans are made beforehand. Though, of course, not everyone has an estate per se. Some people, particularly as they have worked through the years, have accumulated some wealth. In the end, what will happen to that wealth after you pass on is really an important question that people should consider. For those who have possessions at the end of life, no matter how great or small they may be, estate planning can be our final act of stewardship, of carefully managing what God has blessed us with. If you don't have an estate plan that you have created with a will or trust, the state's or civil government's laws can come into play. All this depends, of course, on where you live. If you die without a will, most civil jurisdictions simply pass your assets on to your relatives, whether they need them or not, whether or not they would make good use of the money, and whether or not you would have chosen to give a portion to that person. The church will get nothing if that's what you want. Fine. If not, you need to work out plans beforehand. In the simplest terms, we can say that because God is the owner of everything, see Psalm 24:1, it would be logical to conclude from a biblical perspective that when we are finished with what God has entrusted to us, we should return to Him, the rightful owner, what is left once the needs of loved ones are met. Death, as we know, can come at any time, and unexpectedly too, even today. What would happen to your loved ones were you to die today? What, too, would happen to your property? Would it be distributed as you would like? From the book, SDA Bible Commentary, Volume 3, page 1164 and 1165, it says, "The book of Ecclesiastes was written by Solomon in his old age, after he had fully proved that all the pleasures of earth is able to give are empty and unsatisfying. He there shows how impossible it is for the vanities of the world to meet the longings of the soul. His conclusion is that it is wisdom to enjoy with gratitude the good gifts of God and to do right, for all our works will be brought into judgment. Solomon's autobiography is a mournful one. He gives us the history of his search for happiness. He engaged in intellectual pursuits. He gratified his love for pleasure. He carried out his schemes of commercial enterprise. He was surrounded by the fascinating splendor of court life. All that the carnal heart could desire was at his command. Yet he sums up his experience in this sad record. See Ecclesiastes 1, verses 14 to chapter 2, verse 11. Solomon had great learning, but his wisdom was foolishness, for he did not know how to stand in moral independence, free from sin, in the strength of a character molded after the divine similitude. Solomon has told us the result of his research, his painstaking efforts, his persevering inquiry. He pronounces his wisdom altogether vanity. From Patriarchs and Prophets, page 115, it says, "Every breath, every pulsation of the heart is an evidence of the all-pervading care of Him in whom we live and move and have our being." Acts 17:28. It is not because of inherent power that year by year the earth produces her bounties and continues her motion around the sun. The hand of God guides the planets and keeps them in position in their orderly march through the heavens. He bringeth out, according to Isaiah 40:26, their host by number. He calleth them all by names, by the greatness of his might, for that he is strong in power, not one faileth. It is through his power that vegetation flourishes, that the leaves appear and the flowers bloom. Psalms 147, verse 8 says, "He maketh grass to grow upon the mountains, and by him the valleys are made fruitful." All the beasts of the forest seek their meat from God, and every living creature, from the smallest insect to man, is daily dependent upon his providential care. Sons and Daughters of God, page 355, it says, "All who would have their names retained in the book of life should now, in the few remaining days of their probation, afflict their souls before God by sorrow for sin and true repentance. There must be deep, faithful searching of heart. The light, frivolous spirit indulged by so many professed Christians must be put away. There is earnest warfare before all who would subdue the evil tendencies that strive for the mastery. The work of preparation is an individual work. Have a blessed day.